Welcome to the Period Besties Podcast with Stasha and Katie. Think about it as chatting with your best friends about all the TMI stuff you've never talked about before with two period coaches who've been helping hormones collectively for over 20 years now. I'm Stasha.
And I'm Katie, and we're pulling back the curtain on what it's like in the world of menstrual coaching. From puberty to menopause and everything in between, we're here to show you how period coaching can save the day. We'll share practical tips and information you can put to immediate use to improve your hormones and happiness.
We're removing the mystery, ending the taboo, and shining a light on just how powerful period coaching can be.
So whether you need period coaching or are considering becoming a period coach yourself, these episodes are going to help you. We'll share stories, coach live on air, and bring smart, savvy guests to share their wisdom too. Let's start today's episode.
So what about those period poops? Let's have a little bit of a chuckle because we all know right before our period arrives, our poops look a little different. They feel a little different. And this was actually one of the questions that we received in our Q&A, quote unquote, what about the weirdness that is period poops? So let's dive in. What is going on with period poops? And what do you notice about your own period and your bowel movements and your poops?
It is probably one of the most popular questions, I feel like, that comes up in Q&As, masterminds, those kinds of things where people go, I just want to know why. Why is this so weird? Why is it so awkward? Why is it so different? And at the end of the day, you're going to have to blame your prostaglandins, a hormone that basically has your uterus contract so that you can release your menstrual blood, the lining. But it turns out that it's all over your body, right? Prostaglandins are full body. It's a little inflammatory hormone that jumps in. So like if you cut yourself, it'll swell up so that you stop bleeding while the white blood cells and everyone else is being rallied to the situation to come in, right? So it's like the first responder on the scene. It's like, I'm here to stop the bleeding. Let's get you to the hospital to actually suture the cut or something, right? So it's really helpful. We need it in our body, but it can get a little overzealous around our menstrual phase. And if you have looked at your anatomy, your womb and your ovaries are all kind of collapsed into a little ball, really. The like pretty butterfly looking is not what it looks like in the body. It's kind of just collapsed into a little bit of a ball. And right on either side is your bladder and your colon. So you have this situation where you've got prostaglandins in the area to help you with your menstrual bleed, but of course they're spilling out. So you may find yourself peeing more as well because of prostaglandins and period poops because of those prostaglandins that are basically doing the same thing to your colon. It's just making it contract and move things through quicker than it normally would without their influence.
Yes, and I'm getting my period tomorrow. So not only am I in deep luteal and my brain is not working correctly in my brain, in my mind, I also have been peeing. It's also super hot here. So I've been peeing extra. And I had very loose poops this morning. So if I was not tracking and charting, that would be something to pay attention to is, are you peeing more often? Are your bowel movements looser? Because that's also another way for you to tune into your body to check in. You're like, oh, okay, things look a little bit different. Things feel a little bit different. I must be getting my period. So that's also something else. We obviously encourage all of you to chart and track and really tune in. But if you're not, this is another way to really have a deeper investigation into what's going into your body. I always notice the peeing first because that usually happens 2 days before I get my period. I start needing to pee more. And then the day before is when I really notice the loose bowel movements. And I'm like, yep, everything's on track. And I've obviously already noticed that my brain is not connecting the dots as well.
Yeah, that happens too. We can't blame prostaglandins for that one, unfortunately.
No.
But That's a really good point. If you're charting, I mean, on my mandala, I use the brown colored pencil and then I use the gray colored pencil for loose or diarrhea or really extra bloaty or gassy. I do gray stripes on there if I'm like really super bloaty or gassy on there. So yeah, you can definitely switch up how you're charting so that you can see those differences. Or if you know, like a lot of people like to use little letters, little notes, like a letter or something that indicates those kinds of things. So, however you're charting, make a little note of it and see when it happens for you. It definitely happens for me. I think part of the endo growth is around my colon or bowel because I had really painful poops, especially at the height of my endometriosis pain. So basically from my first period until I sort of got things settled in my mid 30s. I mean, it would be like somebody was just dragging a knife down my colon. Like it really felt like, you see those people that are like two knives in a flag and they go down the flag and it like slows their thing. But that's what it felt like inside when I was trying to poop. So the loose stool actually was a relief because it wasn't as painful. So I actually kind of encouraged it. But now that I have the endo more tamed down, I've noticed a difference in that as well. And it's because of that inflammation, right? Because one of the things you're doing for endometriosis is trying to reduce the inflammation system body wide. And so you're reducing that prostaglandin reaction because it's an inflammatory. So when you're working with those anti-inflammatory things, you notice it as well. So when I'm really good and, taking my turmeric or having my turmeric with my morning fofi or my ginger and all those anti-inflammatories, I notice that my bowel movements are better or quote unquote healthier. I'm not going to say these are unhealthy because it's part of the menstrual cycle. And so having loose stool around your period is not necessarily unhealthy. Just make sure you hydrate and get your electrolytes in. But I definitely felt like they were more solid, longer, and closer to my period. And then as like the couple days before, first couple days of, they're still that kind of period poop, looser kind of situation. But definitely better than they used to be as I've been really into the anti-inflammatories. So if you are in that place where you're like, boy, this is really causing problems, like it's really bad, you may want to look at how your inflammatory things, are you eating a lot of sugars, caffeines, alcohol, things that are really inflammatory? And how are your anti-inflammatory things? Are you eating your greens, your turmerics, your gingers, your spices, but getting those anti-inflammatories in and see how your ratio is. Maybe it's time to pull back a little on the inflammatory things and add some more anti-inflammatory things, get a little better balance there before your period.
Yeah. And if you're doing magnesium citrate, just know that if you're taking it closer to your period, your bowels are even going to be looser, if that's even possible. Okay. So I'm just throwing it out there because that's happened with a few of my clients. And I'm like, yes, the citrate is going to move things through very fast. Then obviously you're getting your period. So we've got to be mindful. If that becomes too uncomfortable, pull back from the citrate and do the glycinate instead, because glycinate doesn't cause loose bowels, but the citrate does. So that's a really good point, because I think a lot of people are doing the citrate for other, constipation, not having a daily bowel movement. So if that's you and you're listening, I would just pull back from that. Or if you're doing 2 tablespoons or 2 spoonfuls of it, maybe just do 1, really just being mindful of how much extra magnesium you're doing.
Oh, that's such a good point. Yeah, the citrate gets me every time. I can do it for maybe 3 days and then I have to stop for a while or just a little sprinkle. Otherwise, yeah, it's just like day one. So the citrate really, I must be extra sensitive to it because I'm not even taking half the dose and it just runs right through me. So yeah, the citrate is a really good point. Well done.
And props to you too for talking about extra hydration when you have loose bowels. So, and wherever you are listening, depending on the humidity and the temperature, we've got to be mindful of what time of year it is, wherever you are, and just making sure you're super hydrated as well.
Yeah, gotta have my coconut water, like a splash of coconut water in my water first thing in the morning, or it's just my whole day. I feel like I'm thirsty, like I'm trying to catch up. If I don't start the day off with a little extra coconut water in my water bottle. Otherwise, it's just like ketchup all day long. So
Yeah.
gotta have that extra hydration, especially around your period. I mean, you are bleeding, like you're releasing a lot of fluid, you're peeing more than usual, you're probably having period poops. So making sure you're getting that extra hydration, minerals, maybe add a little sol to your water, something like that, little mineral drops, electrolytes. I try not to use electrolyte powders. A lot of them have a bunch of sugar in them. I'd rather just eat some fruit and get my sugar there so that I'm also getting the fiber with it. But I will say I do travel with electrolyte powders just in case, because when you're traveling, I mean, talk about period poops. I mean, when you travel, you go from airplane constipation to different food, like just trying to keep your poor bowels happy when you're traveling is tough. So I always travel with electrolyte powders for that, for sure.
No, I do too. I actually just ordered a bunch for upcoming trip.
Nice.
And yeah, I mean, that's the worst. Just even having the airplane farts. I feel like I'm always farting on an airplane because of the pressure. So trying to be mindful about that too. Yeah, but that just made me laugh because that happens as well because of the cabin pressure. And then you're off. I always feel so bloated for days after I travel.
Ugh, same. Yeah, same. And for somebody like I have such good clockwork digestion, I'm like first thing in the morning, I hit the bathroom. I have a great healthy bowel movement generally. And then to, have to go through like the plain food and the constipation from that and everything. And so it's just like, oh, I hate this. I can't believe people feel like this regularly.
I know. When my clients tell me that they have a bowel movement maybe twice a week, I'm always thinking this is the first thing we must look at because you're going to feel like a brand new person just by having a daily bowel movement. But same every day, wake up, have a movement. It's kind of a family joke at this point because the boys will just be like, Mommy's pooping. Literally wake up, go to the bathroom. But I absolutely love this question. So for the audience, everyone listening, how are your period poops? What is actually going on? Do you have questions about it? Are you constipated before you get your period? Talk to us. Are you having the opposite reaction in your body when you're getting your period? Because that can also happen depending on what Stasha mentioned before about the inflammation in your body. So we want to hear, how are your period poops? What do you want to know more about bowel movements, digestion, and all of those things when it comes to your period?
Yeah. Remember, nothing's TMI on this podcast. So send it in. Let us know. Thanks so much for everyone to listen today. And we can't wait to see you in the next episode. Bye for now.
A big shout out and thank you to our sponsors for today's episode, Period Coaching School and Katie Bresek Wellness.
Thanks to you, our favorite bestie, for listening to the Period Besties Podcast, where no topic is TMI. And of course, share this episode with your besties.
Remember to leave us a 5-star review, nothing less than the best for us besties, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
You can follow us on Instagram at Stasha Washburn and at Katie Bresek, or email us at periodbestiespodcast@gmail.com.
Check out more about us at katiebresek.com and periodcoachingschool.com. And of course, check the show notes for free goodies and extras that support this episode.
We'll see you on the next episode.
Bye for now, besties.